Do you know how F1 polices rules and keeps up its impressive safety record? It's all about checking. Checking, and more checking. Here's our insider's guide to Parc FERMÉ. F1 teams are constantly pushing the boundaries and sometimes flexing the rules in the search of better performance. To keep them honest and to maintain safety, the sport's governing body checks cars and limits modifications throughout a Grand Prix weekend. Cars are either taken into an area known as Parc FERMÉ after sessions or placed under strict Parc FERMÉ conditions during certain periods. But what exactly does that mean, and how does it affect things? What does Parc FERMÉ mean? It's a French phrase that translates literally as closed park. It's where scrutineers measure the weight and dimensions of the cars and check homologation labels to prove parts are pre-tested and meet relevant standards. What is the difference between Parc FERMÉ and Parc FERMÉ conditions? Parc FERMÉ is a cordoned-off zone, controlled by the FIA, where no work can be done on the car, although 3 mechanics must be there to help the process. Parc FERMÉ conditions are where the cars are in their garages but under the eye of a scrutineer, and teams can only make certain specified changes. When are cars called to Parc FERMÉ or placed under Parc FERMÉ conditions? Teams self-scrutineer their cars and declare them legal before the weekend. To make sure, at least 6 cars are called into Parc FERMÉ for checks after practice. The cars can be modified right up to the start of qualifying, but as soon as it's a green light for Q1, Parc FERMÉ conditions are enforced until race start. Any car knocked out of Q1 or Q2 must go back to the team's garage with an assigned scrutineer. Any that run in Q3 must go to the physical Parc FERMÉ after the session and, once released, also go back to their garage with a scrutineer. At the end of the race, all classified finishers must go straight to Parc FERMÉ for checks, which can take 2 hours or more, with one car chosen at random for a deeper inspection. This process means the actual race result is not confirmed until long after the champagne is sprayed. How do Parc FERMÉ conditions work? Before each car leaves the pit lane for qualifying, teams hand the FIA technical delegate a setup sheet, which they must stick to for the rest of the weekend. They can do certain maintenance under Parc FERMÉ conditions, like replacing parts like for like, but cannot modify any part or change the suspension setup. The assigned scrutineer keeps a check on any work done, and if the rules are broken, the car must start from the pit lane. Before we reveal what teams can and cannot do under Parc FERMÉ conditions, we want to give a shout out to our sponsor for this series, Party Poker, who currently have a special sign-up offer. If you head over to the link in the description, open a new account and deposit £10 or more today, Party Poker will match it on deposits up to £400 and give you £40 worth of free play too. Only available if you're 18 or over, T&Cs apply, and please be gamble aware and play responsibly. What are teams allowed to do during Parc FERMÉ conditions? There are more than 20 specified jobs that can be done. Anything else requires special written permission. Engines can be started and internal engine and cylinder compression checks are allowed. Fuel can be added or removed and a fuel breather fitted, while energy storage devices can be charged or discharged. The brake system can be bled and engine oil, compressed gases, and some other fluids can be drained or added as long as the replacement is the same spec. Wheels, fasteners, and tyres can be removed, changed, or rebalanced, and tyre pressures can be checked. Heating or cooling devices can be fitted, and a jump battery can be connected so the electronics can be accessed via a physical connection. The front wing can be adjusted using existing parts, but no parts can be added, removed, or replaced. Bodywork can be removed, cosmetic changes can be made, tape can be added, and any part of the car can be cleaned. Onboard cameras, marshalling systems, and timing transponders can be removed, refitted, or checked. Changes can be made to the mirrors, seat belts, and pedals, and the drinks bottle can be filled up to a maximum of 1.5 litres. Any parts that are removed must be kept in sight of the scrutineer, and it must all be back as it was before the car leaves the pit lane. What if a car has been damaged? Teams are allowed to repair genuine accident damage, but that is a grey area. Cars usually need minor touch-ups after qualifying, but if a driver damages the car, the team must request permission and define all the parts to be replaced. Repairs are done under the eye of the assigned scrutineer, and any parts removed are retained by the FIA. If there isn't time to ask, teams can do work and check later, as long as the scrutineer is present and it's fair to believe permission would be given. What about changing major parts of the car? Each gearbox must be used for at least 6 races, and if a team changes one early, the car gets a grid penalty. A chassis change during a race weekend will force the car to start from the pit lane. And as for the power unit, well, that's a bit more complicated because it's split into different component parts. Each driver is allowed 3 engines, 3 turbochargers, 3 motor generator units heat, MGUH, 3 motor generator units kinetic, MGUK, 2 energy stores, 2 control electronics, and 8 sets of engine exhausts. If they use more than the assigned number of any element, it's a 10 grid spot penalty for the first, 5 for the second, and back of the grid for any more. How is the team's use of engines monitored? All power unit parts are sealed by the FIA before being used for the first time. The seals are removed to run the engine, and all elements must stay within the garage when not fitted to a car. Within 2 hours of post-race Parc FERMÉ, the seals are reapplied until the next event the specific part is used, when the process is repeated. When can teams work on their cars? After qualifying, there are just 3.5 hours before work must stop for the day, after which the cars are covered and sealed for the night. Teams can keep one car out for marketing, but cannot work on it, and it must be covered and sealed within a further 2 hours of the initial deadline. On Sunday morning, the covers and seals come off 5 hours and 10 minutes before the start of the formation lap, and teams can work on them again under Parc FERMÉ conditions. What happens if it rains? Cars with a dry setup cannot easily run in the wet, so if the weather changes or looks set to, teams are allowed to change brake and radiator ducts and alter pitot tubes used for measurement. They can also change the headrest around the driver, as there are 3 different types suitable for 3 different temperature ranges. On the grid, if a wet race is declared, teams can change from slicks to full wets or intermediate before the start. Overall, this strict process is crucial to ensure safe and fair play, eliminate foul play, and place any rule-bending issues under the spotlight.